Hey everybody, welcome to Unit 3. We're into Week 8 already, which kind of makes this the midterm point, even though it's not exactly divided in half. Well, I guess actually it is going to be divided in half, like later this week. So we're halfway done, yay! My midterm grades for you guys are due on the 23rd of this month, but I will have them in prior to that. So you can actually check out your midterm grades by Friday. I just need to get the Transmaterialize assignment finished up. I've been really happy with those as I've read them so far, so great job. Lots of good things today. Your participation was way better this unit than it was first unit, so that's really great. Quiz scores went up for almost everybody across the board. The average grade was 11 points higher than it was on quiz 1. So I'm going to chalk that up to giving you guys the Quizlet study guide. And so I'll go ahead and continue to make those for future quizzes. If those were completely not helpful to you in every way, then please let me know. Also, feel free to give me any feedback on the test questions. I know there was one that was pretty confusing about the Vitso shelving system. I had it, when I was writing it, I was thinking about when the company was founded, which was actually 1 year prior to the shelving system being released. So I know that was confusing to a couple people. So if you missed that question, send me a note and I'll give you credit for that anyway. If you find questions that are really just too confusing for you to figure out, I'm happy to take some feedback on it. Not all of them are ones I wrote. Some of them are left over from previous years. So don't think you're going to hurt my feelings if you tell me that the questions aren't good. I'm happy to update them for future years. Since I am teaching this class now, I'm going to be teaching it next year as well and going forward. So I'm really interested in making incremental changes each time I teach it to make it a little bit better. So please give me any feedback that you have as you go. So participation up, quiz scores up, midterm grades by Friday, everything's great. Be the change assignment. You guys have gotten started on that. Some pretty exciting ideas that you had for how you want to make a commitment for the next month or so. Be careful. A couple of you kind of bit off really big tasks. Don't forget that we do have a spring break in the middle there. Some of you might be traveling or going out of town. Make sure that this is something that you can succeed at, because there's nothing worse than going for something and then failing. It makes it much harder for us to get the just the motivation, I guess, to try it again next time. So it's better to bite off something a little bit smaller and succeed at it than it is to try to do everything at once. I'm also going to go ahead and jump in on the challenge with you guys as well. When I took the class, whatever it was, 4 or 5 years back, my challenge was to ride my bike everywhere that was less than 20 miles away. So I got in an awful lot of bike rides that month, and luckily the weather was pretty good here when I did it, and I had to figure out how to get groceries on my bike. That was the hardest part. The rest of it, I was already commuting by bike, and so it was eliminating those short trips. And I think it set a pretty good pattern of behavior for me for quite a while after that. So the 30-day mark, like we said in the assignment, is a good point for you to set a habit without it being too short and you immediately stop doing it as soon as the challenge is over. But this time I'm going to jump on the challenge as well, and I'm going to be working on reducing my waste. Right now, my husband and I combined in our house, we usually have 1 bag of trash each week. It seems like too much, though, for how little we really do. A lot of what we end up throwing away or recycling ends up being packaging for things that we purchase through the mail, because we live in a really small town. So there's just not a lot of opportunities for certain goods to be purchased here. So we end up ordering things on Amazon, and they're always overpackaged, and there's always tons of plastic. So A couple things I'm going to try to do are, already my town has a plastic bag ban in grocery stores for your take-home bags, but they haven't banned them in the vegetables section. So I'm going to be trying to get most of my vegetables at the farmer's market now that that's starting to open up. And other things that aren't at the market, I'm going to bring my own bags for the bulk items that I'm purchase as well, and just try to reduce those small things that really add up. So we'll see how it goes for me. I'm hoping that I can at least cut down my waste in half during this time. Let's see, what else? This week we're jumping into Unit 3, which is about all of the different leverage points and things that we have to consider when we're really analyzing something for sustainability. You know, it's not just about the ecological impact, it's also about the economic impact, the social impact, and governance, and how governance affects what we are allowed to do and what we're required to do as well. For a little while, I worked at the Starbucks headquarters as a graphic designer in that very large creative department there at Starbucks. There's about 40 graphic designers and a bunch of other people. But one of the things that we really struggled with when I was there as we were trying to make sustainability changes was requirements from the government as to the amount of recycled content that was allowed to be put into the cups. There are still today requirements that a certain amount of a beverage container be virgin material. And it's a little bit crazy because it stops positive change from happening and increases waste. Already the cups are terrible, and it's just keeping them being worse. So governance really does have a huge effect on what we can do. So this week we're jumping into the concept of the Anthropocene, which you guys have probably heard of by now. It's starting to kind of get to be a more common term, and it is essentially the idea that as we've moved through these different epochs of history, we are now in one which is defined by humans. The behaviors of humans have altered the planet in such a way so as to produce a completely new historical era, which we're calling the Anthropocene. So we're going to be digging into the ecological effects of humans this week, and then next week going into economics, then the social side, and then finally governance at the end. So that'll take us through Unit 3, which will get us to week 11. We're also going to be kicking off our final project actually during this unit. There's several steps that we'll be taking as you go along. So you have that to look forward to. And a reminder, one last thing, that the natural step assignment is due next week on Sunday. So make sure you are working through that and gonna get it done by week 9. All right, that's all I have for you today. Let me know if you have any feedback or any questions, or if you got that Vitso question wrong and you'd like to have me look at your grade again, please send me a note. Otherwise, enjoy your week, and I'll see you all later.